Every Doberman carries one truth inside them, one instinct that shapes their loyalty, their reactions, their power, and their entire destiny. Most owners never see it coming until the day it finally reveals itself. This instinct is older than training, older than commands, older than every modern expectation. It is the instinct that decides whether a Doberman becomes a dream or a danger. Dobermans were created with a purpose no other breed shares. They were designed to think under pressure, to assess threat without hesitation, and to protect the human beside them at a level that feels almost supernatural. But that same instinct becomes the moment everything changes. Because the Doberman does not wait for permission, it reacts to what it feels, not what humans say. This is the truth owners struggle to understand. Dobermans don't read instructions, they read energy. They feel tension before voices rise. They sense fear before bodies move. They see intentions long before humans recognize danger. And once this instinct ignites, there is no pause, no warning, no second chance to rethink. The Doberman makes a decision, a clean, precise, emotional conclusion born from centuries of protective purpose. This is what creates the myth of the perfect guard dog. But it also creates the moment owners fear most. The moment the Doberman stops asking and starts acting. For many owners, this shift happens quietly. One day the dog hesitates, watching a stranger more intensely than usual. Another day, it positions itself between you and someone approaching. And then one day, without aggression, it begins making choices on its own. This is the instinct every Doberman carries. The instinct no one survives unprepared. Because this breed does not simply guard, it predicts. It calculates. It decides. This instinct is the source of their power, but also the beginning of every challenge owners face. People think Dobermans react suddenly, but nothing about them is sudden. They have already analyzed the situation long before the human notices anything is happening. They do not wait for permission to protect, they were bred to remove hesitation. This is why the Doberman is dangerous in unstructured homes. And why it becomes legendary in disciplined ones. A Doberman with purpose becomes the most loyal guardian a human can ever have. A Doberman without direction becomes a dog that carries responsibility it should never hold alone. Their intelligence is not the problem. Their emotional depth is not the problem. Their instinct, the instinct that defines the breed, is the challenge no one prepares new owners for. This instinct is loyalty sharpened into vigilance. It is love sharpened into readiness. It is obedience sharpened into intuition. And once it awakens, the Doberman no longer sees itself as a pet. It sees itself as something far more serious, a protector who decides the outcome before danger arrives. Owners misread this transformation every day. They think their Doberman is acting out, being dramatic, or getting too attached. But the truth is far deeper and far older. The Doberman is stepping into the role it was bred for, a role humans underestimate until the consequences appear. This is the instinct that separates the Doberman from every other working breed. Not aggression. Not dominance. Clarity. A clarity of purpose that does not change with mood or training style. A Doberman knows what it is, even if its owner does not. And once this clarity appears, owners face the moment that defines their entire relationship with the breed. Either they rise to meet the Doberman's nature, or the Doberman becomes a dog living with a human who does not understand it. The dogs suffer. The humans struggle. And the bond, one of the most powerful bonds in the dog world, becomes a battlefield of mixed signals. This is the Doberman truth no one survives unprepared, the moment the dog begins protecting you long before you realize you needed protection. Most owners never see this shift happen. They are living normal daily life while the Doberman is reading every sound, every movement, every possibility. And then one day, the instinct becomes undeniable. A visitor enters the home and the Doberman freezes, not out of fear, but calculation. A family argument starts and the Doberman steps in between, not out of confusion, but emotional intelligence. A stranger raises their voice and the Doberman's eyes sharpen, not in aggression, but in warning. This is not danger. This is destiny. The Doberman's instinct doesn't explode like a threat. It unfolds like a realization, a silent understanding that the world requires their attention long before a human knows anything is wrong. This moment is where owners either gain the Doberman's lifelong trust or lose control of the relationship forever. Because once the Doberman begins to act on its own judgment, it needs a handler, not a spectator. This is why so many owners feel blindsided. They thought they had a loyal companion, not a sentient guardian making strategic decisions. The Doberman's protective wiring isn't just strong, it's predictive. It senses possibilities, not just problems. It reads energy far more deeply than commands. And when that instinct activates, the dog steps into a role humans rarely expect. This is the moment new owners call trainers in panic. They see the Doberman's behavior shifting, intensifying, becoming more purposeful. But the Doberman isn't becoming aggressive. It is becoming aware. Aware of its environment. Aware of its responsibility. Aware of the emotional landscape inside the home. This instinct is a double-edged sword. In a home with structure, it becomes the purest form of loyalty on earth. In a home without structure, it becomes pressure the dog is never meant to carry alone. No dog should be responsible for managing a family's emotional climate, but the Doberman will do it if the owner doesn't. That is the moment things go wrong. Not because the dog is dangerous, but because the dog is overwhelmed. The Doberman will never show this overwhelm as fear. It shows it as control. It begins redirecting energy, guarding rooms, blocking strangers, interpreting arguments, and managing spaces. Most owners mislabel this as stubbornness or dominance. It is neither. It is responsibility without leadership. And a Doberman without leadership becomes a Doberman living in a state of constant alertness. Not aggression, alertness. This is the instinct no one warns new owners about. The instinct that transforms a peaceful home into a strategic environment the Doberman monitors every second. When a Doberman places itself between you and a stranger, it isn't showing aggression. It is showing priority. When a Doberman refuses to leave your side, it isn't being needy. It is fulfilling its role. When a Doberman reacts to tension before voices rise, it isn't overreacting. It is responding to a shift you didn't notice. These reactions are not mistakes. They are instincts. Instincts that require a partner, not a passive owner. The Doberman wants to serve, but it wants direction even more. Without that direction, the dog becomes emotionally overloaded. Without clear boundaries, the dog becomes mentally overextended. This is why Dobermans struggle in chaotic environments. Their minds require clarity the way athletes require oxygen. When the environment becomes inconsistent, the Doberman begins trying to solve problems that aren't theirs to solve. And when humans misunderstand this instinct, the relationship breaks down. Some owners punish the behavior, thinking the dog is being difficult. Others excuse the behavior, believing the dog is being protective. Both are wrong. The Doberman is not trying to control the home, it is trying to stabilize it. This is why so many Dobermans snap in households full of emotional turmoil. They don't become aggressive, they become exhausted. A tired Doberman with too much responsibility is the most dangerous version of the breed. Not because it wants to harm, but because it wants to fix. And no dog can carry that burden alone. This brings us to the truth every long-term Doberman owner eventually learns. The Doberman does not want to lead, it wants to follow a leader it trusts. When that leadership exists, everything changes. The Doberman relaxes. The Doberman breathes. The Doberman becomes the elegant, balanced guardian the world admires. Because leadership frees the Doberman's mind. It removes the weight of constant vigilance. It allows the dog to experience something it rarely receives: peace. A peaceful Doberman is the true Doberman. Loyal, affectionate, steady, and emotionally intelligent beyond belief. But that peace must be earned. It cannot be bribed with treats or created with commands. It is built through consistency, calmness, and authority delivered without force. When the Doberman senses emotional stability in its human, it no longer carries the weight of the home. It becomes part of the home instead of the guardian of it. And that is the transformation every owner dreams of. The instinct remains, always sharp, always present, but now it is directed rather than unleashed. It becomes a gift, not a burden. This is the instinct that defines the Doberman. The instinct no one survives unprepared. Because this breed will not adjust itself for the owner. The owner must evolve for the Doberman. Those who rise to this challenge discover the most powerful bond a human can have with a dog. A connection built on clarity, respect, and silent understanding. Those who fail will always feel like they are living with a mystery they cannot solve. Because the Doberman is not complicated, it is simply honest. Honest about what it feels. Honest about what it senses. Honest about what it was born to do. And once an owner sees this instinct clearly, their entire relationship with the dog changes. They stop expecting obedience and start building partnership. They stop reacting to behavior and start guiding purpose. And the Doberman responds instantly. This is why experienced owners say the Doberman is the easiest guard dog in the world, once you understand its mind. And the most difficult, if you don't. The instinct does not disappear with age. It deepens. It becomes sharper, more refined, more intuitive. And with the right owner, it becomes the core of a partnership unmatched in the dog world. This is the real truth: no one survives unprepared. The Doberman is not a pet, it is a mirror. It reflects your confidence. It amplifies your weaknesses. It reveals your energy. And it responds to the person you truly are, not the person you pretend to be. This is why the Doberman changes people. It demands emotional discipline. It demands clarity. It demands self-awareness. Because the Doberman will always rise to your level, but it will never lower itself to your inconsistency. This is the instinct that separates the Doberman from every other breed. The instinct that makes it legendary. And the instinct that makes it unforgiving. A Doberman will never abandon you. But it will force you to become someone worthy of its loyalty. This is the truth no owner is ready for, until it happens. And once it does, the bond becomes unbreakable. Because now, the Doberman is no longer acting alone. It is acting with you. And that is the moment everything changes. When a Doberman finally trusts its human completely, something extraordinary happens. The dog no longer behaves like a guardian reacting to the world, it becomes a guardian aligned with intention. This alignment is what trainers call the silent partnership. Nothing is spoken, yet everything is understood. The Doberman reads your posture long before you realize you've shifted your weight. It reads your breathing before you notice your chest tighten. It reads the atmosphere of a room before any words are exchanged. And this sensitivity becomes the foundation of the bond. Most owners underestimate this depth. They expect obedience, but the Doberman offers awareness. Awareness that feels almost human at times. Awareness that makes strangers step back without understanding why. Because the Doberman doesn't need to threaten to command respect. Its presence alone shifts the energy of a space. This presence is why so many people misinterpret the breed. They project fear onto a dog that is simply operating in its natural state. A state of vigilance. A state of quiet readiness. The Doberman does not want conflict, but it will face it without hesitation. It does not look for danger, but it calculates it instantly. This calculation is instinctual. It comes from the same lineage that shaped the breed into one of history's most reliable protectors. But in the modern world, this instinct creates confusion. Owners misread the dog's intensity as aggression. Others misread its calmness as weakness. Neither is true. The Doberman embodies controlled power. It is a storm held together by discipline. Yet discipline does not come naturally to every dog. It must be developed, guided, and shaped. Owners who understand this create Dobermans others admire. Owners who ignore this create Dobermans others fear. Because without direction, the Doberman acts on its own interpretation of the world. And a world interpreted by an instinct-driven guardian can become unpredictable. But when the Doberman trusts the human's judgment more than its own instincts, the transformation is profound. The dog becomes balanced, composed, and effortlessly stable. This stability is what makes the Doberman legendary in protection work. They do not break when pressure rises. They think under stress. They calculate under fear. And they choose the least forceful option whenever possible. This is not an accident, it is intelligence. Dobermans are not reactive brutes as stereotypes claim. They are strategic, emotional thinkers. They analyze situations with a clarity many humans lack. And this clarity only strengthens with proper training. A well-guided Doberman knows when to engage and when to disengage. When to watch and when to intervene. When to trust the owner's calmness. And when the owner's tension signals a genuine threat. Most owners never reach this level of partnership. Not because they cannot, but because they stop too early. They train the dog's body but forget to train the dog's mind. They practice commands but never build communication. Commands create obedience. Communication creates understanding. And understanding creates the Doberman most people will never experience, the version that moves with purpose, not pressure. This version is a masterpiece of instinct and discipline. A creature that embodies loyalty without losing logic. When the Doberman understands the world through the owner's lens, its instinct finally finds peace. Because now it no longer carries the responsibility alone. This is the moment when owners feel the shift. The dog stops leading them and starts walking with them. It looks to them before reacting. It waits for their decision. And that pause, that split-second moment, is everything. It is the bridge between instinct and intelligence. A Doberman that pauses is a Doberman that trusts. Trust is the highest form of training. And this trust is what prevents misunderstandings, overreactions, and the mistakes inexperienced owners often fear. The pause is the Doberman's gift to the person it respects. A gift that reflects emotional maturity. A gift that reflects deep connection. This is where the Doberman becomes more than a protector. It becomes a partner. A partner who understands the difference between threat and tension. Between curiosity and caution. Between fear and leadership. Most dogs follow commands because they must. The Doberman follows because it chooses to. This choice is the foundation of its character. And that character is what sets the breed apart. When a Doberman chooses loyalty, it chooses it completely. No hesitation. No wavering. When it chooses to protect, it protects with precision. No chaos. No confusion. When it chooses to love, it loves with a depth that leaves owners changed forever. This emotional intensity is both the blessing and the burden of the breed. Owners who embrace it gain a companion unlike any other. Owners who resist it struggle endlessly. Because the Doberman is not here to fit into human expectations. It is here to reveal them. It exposes the owner's flaws with eerie clarity. It amplifies emotional instability and mirrors it back. But it also amplifies strength, confidence, calmness. A Doberman will rise to the level of the person in front of it. And this is where the breed becomes transformative. It forces its owner to grow, to lead with intention, to stop reacting and start guiding, to become someone worth following. This is why so many experienced owners say the Doberman changed their life. It wasn't because the dog demanded perfection. It was because the dog demanded consistency. And consistency reshapes character. The Doberman doesn't want domination. It wants direction. It doesn't want affection alone. It wants clarity. And when it receives both, the bond becomes indestructible. A bond forged through pressure, trust, and shared purpose. A bond few people will ever understand. A bond only the Doberman can create. The Doberman thrives when life has structure, rhythm, and purpose. Without these, its instincts begin to spill into places they don't belong. A bored Doberman doesn't become lazy, it becomes inventive. And an inventive Doberman can create problems no owner saw coming. This is the moment many families mistake for disobedience. But the truth is far more subtle. The Doberman is not rebelling. It is compensating. It is filling the leadership vacuum it senses around it. It is stepping into a role it never asked for, but feels compelled to take. When the Doberman becomes the decision maker, the home becomes unstable. Not because the dog is dangerous, but because leadership without clarity turns instinct into stress. The Doberman does not want this role. It wants guidance, reassurance, and direction. It wants to know the boundaries so it can relax within them. It wants to feel safe enough to switch off its internal alarms. When owners provide that environment, the transformation is immediate. The Doberman becomes calmer, softer, and more affectionate. Because behind the powerful frame is a dog that craves peace more than conflict. It wants harmony, not dominance. People misunderstand this softness. They think a powerful dog must always be tough. But the Doberman's true strength lies in its ability to be gentle when the world is calm, and fierce only when the world demands it. This emotional range is what sets the breed apart. It can go from playful companion to focused protector in a heartbeat. And yet, it never forgets why it exists: to serve, to guard, and to understand. This purpose is woven into every instinct. Owners who nurture this purpose never experience the chaos others describe. They unlock the Doberman's balance. A balanced Doberman becomes effortless to live with. It anticipates what you need before you say a word. It watches over the home without making noise. It maintains order without aggression. This quiet guardianship is the Doberman's gift. A presence that protects by simply existing. Strangers feel this energy the moment they enter the home. They adjust their behavior without understanding why. Because the Doberman does not threaten. It evaluates. It watches posture, tone, movement, and intention. And within seconds it knows who belongs and who does not. This evaluation is not taught, it is inherited. Passed down through generations of selective breeding. Every Doberman owner has seen this moment. The silent scan, the shift in posture, the microsecond assessment. It is the breed's signature. A mixture of intelligence and instinct. But here is the truth most people never learn: the Doberman does not protect a home. It protects the emotion inside it. It senses tension long before humans do. It reacts to emotional instability faster than physical threat. A raised voice shifts its breathing. A nervous tone changes its stance. The Doberman reads anxiety as clearly as commands. This sensitivity is both a blessing and a warning. Because the Doberman becomes what the home feels like. A peaceful home creates a peaceful Doberman. A chaotic home creates a restless one. And a fearful home creates a reactive one. This is why the breed is misunderstood. People blame the dog for the environment it mirrors. When owners stabilize their own emotions, the Doberman stabilizes instantly. It is the most emotionally responsive guard dog on earth. This responsiveness creates a bond unlike any other. A bond felt, not forced. The Doberman chooses its person based on emotional frequency. Not food, not dominance, not games, resonance. When a Doberman chooses you, it chooses you with conviction. It watches you with purpose and listens with meaning. And this loyalty is not quiet. It is absolute. The dog becomes a shadow you cannot shake. A presence that follows you from room to room, reading your energy like a language. Some owners find this overwhelming. Others find it life-changing. Because this breed does not just become your protector. It becomes your reflection. You learn patience because the dog demands it. You learn consistency because the dog needs it. You learn emotional control because the dog mirrors it. The Doberman forces growth without ever speaking a word. This is why seasoned handlers call them emotional athletes. They feel everything at full intensity. Every success. Every failure. Every shift inside the home. A Doberman thrives where clarity dominates. It falls apart where confusion grows. Owners who understand this turn the breed's intensity into brilliance. Owners who ignore it turn that brilliance into chaos. But no matter the home, no matter the owner, no matter the environment, the Doberman tries. It always tries. It tries to understand. It tries to connect. It tries to protect even when unsure how. The effort is part of its nature. This is the part most people never see. The vulnerability beneath the power. The quiet longing to belong. The desire to please the person it trusts most. For all its strength, the Doberman is a deeply sensitive creature. And sensitivity, in a powerful dog, becomes a responsibility. The responsibility lies not with the dog, but with the human who chooses it. Because when you choose a Doberman, you choose intensity. You choose awareness. You choose a dog that will hold you accountable every day. Not through dominance, but through honesty. The Doberman shows you where you are strong, and where you need to grow. It teaches discipline without punishment, and loyalty without conditions. This is why the breed creates lifelong bonds. It does not attach lightly. When a Doberman gives its heart, it gives all of it. And it expects you to hold that trust carefully. Because once the bond is established, everything changes. The world becomes something you navigate together. Two beings, one instinctive, one reflective. Moving through life in sync. This is the power of the Doberman. The story hidden behind the sleek frame and intimidating presence. And for the owner willing to understand it fully, the reward is immense. A partnership built on trust, purpose, and emotional truth. This is the Doberman most people never experience. But the one every great owner remembers forever. A Doberman's loyalty is not something you earn once and keep forever. It is something you reinforce through every moment of consistency. Because the Doberman watches everything. Not with suspicion, but with understanding. It learns who you are by how you live. It decides how to behave by watching how you lead. This is why the breed responds so powerfully to stable energy. Calmness is the Doberman's anchor. In a storm of emotions it does not understand, the dog becomes unsettled. But in a home where direction is clear, it relaxes completely. This relaxation is not weakness. It is trust. A Doberman at peace is a Doberman that feels safe. A Doberman that feels safe is a Doberman that listens. Owners often ask why their dog behaves differently in different environments. The answer is simple: the Doberman reacts to the emotion of a space. Every room has a tone. Every home has a rhythm. And the Doberman reads it instantly. It adjusts itself without hesitation. This ability makes the breed powerful, but it also makes it vulnerable. Because feeling so much comes at a cost. Overstimulation, anxiety, restlessness. These are not signs of aggression, they are signs of emotional overload. And the world overwhelms a Doberman far faster than people realize. This is why the greatest gift an owner can give is emotional clarity. Not perfection, not dominance, clarity. Clarity creates confidence in the dog. Confidence creates calm. And that calm turns instinct into intelligence. Which is the Doberman at its best. A Doberman operating from calm intelligence is unstoppable. It evaluates threats with precision. It chooses restraint over chaos. It becomes the protector everyone dreams of. But a Doberman operating from confusion becomes unpredictable. Not because it wants to be, but because it must fill the gaps left by the human. This is the hard truth no one talks about. A Doberman's mistakes often begin as an owner's silence. Silence in leadership. Silence in boundaries. Silence in emotional direction. And silence creates a vacuum the Doberman will always try to fill. When owners understand this, everything changes. The dog finally knows its role. And when a Doberman understands its role, it thrives. Its instincts sharpen into discipline. Its intensity turns into focus. Its sensitivity transforms into connection. This connection becomes the heart of your relationship. A connection built not on control, but on communication. A Doberman will follow a leader who is fair. It will not follow a leader who is unpredictable. This is why the breed excels with owners who grow alongside it. Because the Doberman demands that growth every day. It forces you to examine how you communicate, how you react, how you carry yourself under pressure. The dog becomes a mirror you cannot ignore. Some people find this uncomfortable. Others find it transformative. Because the Doberman reveals your character through how it responds to you. It reflects your discipline and your softness. Your intensity and your hesitation. Your confidence and your doubt. This reflection creates a bond that is impossible to replicate. A bond forged through shared energy, not commands. A Doberman does not stay by your side because you feed it. It stays because it believes in you. And belief is stronger than obedience. Stronger than training. Stronger than instinct. It is the foundation of true partnership. When that partnership is formed, the Doberman carries itself differently. Its movements become synchronized with yours. Its focus becomes effortless. Its loyalty becomes unshakable. People see this and call it magic. But it is not magic, it is understanding. Understanding created through time, trust, and emotional truth. Understanding that turns a powerful dog into a devoted companion. This is why the Doberman remains one of the most respected breeds in the world. Not because of strength alone, but because of the intelligence behind its strength. And the emotional depth beneath that intelligence. The Doberman is not for everyone. It was never meant to be. It asks more of its owner than most breeds do. But it gives more in return. It gives loyalty that does not break. Protection that does not waver. Awareness that never sleeps. And love that is both fierce and fragile. When you choose a Doberman, you choose responsibility. You choose growth. You choose a partner who will challenge you and elevate you. A partner who sees you more clearly than you see yourself. This is the truth behind every great Doberman story. Not the power. Not the presence. But the partnership. A partnership built on the one thing the Doberman values above all else. Trust. Because in the end, the strongest Doberman is not the one with the loudest bark or the quickest reaction. It is the one that trusts completely. And the strongest owner is not the one who demands obedience. It is the one who earns that trust. This is the Doberman most people will never understand. But the one every true owner will never forget.